Well, hello. It's been a while. In fact, it's been like over a year and a half. I think that the last time that I saw you, I had just torn the headliner out of the Suburban, the rest of it anyway, and did some taillights that I hate, and I put back to stock, which I'm glad I did. So it's been, I want to say busy, but it really hasn't been that busy. I've just been noisy. I picked up a couple of little kid squads that didn't run. Got them running for actually very cheap. One of them even for free. And I rode them for months and months. I painted one red and then I painted one, eventually, a military green. I built a trailer for the military green one. That was the one I was going to keep. Uh, Sold the red one. Kept the other one for a little bit. I took it out some nice places around the house. And I also picked up a couple of other quads too, which is why I no longer have the kids' quads. I was driving the Suburban daily, actually, and then I heard weird noises coming from under it, so I decided to investigate. So it sounded like maybe it was U-joints, so I decided to jack one side of the Suburban up, spin the wheel, and see if it made some noise. So I took the U-joints, like the drive shaft off, so there's no U-joints on it, spun the wheel. And what do you know? It was the U-joints. So I had to begin the annoying task of melting nylon out of a drive shaft, which took probably about 10 minutes per joint. Because if you don't know, these cars don't have, well, some of them don't have clips. You have to literally, it's retained by nylon. And you have to heat it up and burn it, and it comes out of the weep hole. And I had to use an angle grinder because they were really stuck in there. They were real bad. Like, this is what was left of the needle bearings inside of the U-joint. So you can imagine that's what was making that noise. I replaced two of them. I have not replaced the one on the actual transmission because I dreaded doing more nylon burning. And it was actually quite fine. There was no play in it, so I guess it was fine. So I was working on the U-joints, actually. Decided, hey, you know what? I'll take my dad's truck to work. Because the Fiero was broken for some reason. I think I just replaced the fuel injectors and one of them wasn't plugged in, like it gotten unplugged when I bolted down the intake manifold. So I was like, hey, I'll take my dad's truck. That'll be nice. And everybody will be impressed at work. They'll be like, hey, cool truck, you know. So I was like, all right, let's go fill it up with gas. Get a couple 5-gallon jugs of water. And so I did. And on the way home from the gas station, it stopped running. And I was like, okay, let's pull off to the side of the road. And I did, and it caught fire. It burst into flames. And I was like, oh boy. Called 911. They got there in like 5 minutes, and they put it out, but the truck's in pretty sad shape right now. It looks, as you can tell, pretty bad. I'm still gonna fix it. My brother says he doesn't have any, like, use for it. He needs, like, a crew cab or better truck, or SUV, and he doesn't have much use for a regular cab. So I guess it's mine now, because my mom doesn't want it, because it's, I don't know, not important to her. What else have I done with the Suburban? I replaced the transmission mount. That was fun. It's now bent, so I think I need new motor mounts. Oh god, the wheel bearings. Oh man. This is me unscrewing the wheel bearing with 2 fingers, and that's how it was. They were not tight at all. Like, that's how they were on there. So that's got new wheel bearings. That's fun. They were very cheap. I got the Timken wheel bearings because I like them. They're very good quality in my experience anyway. Oh man, I almost forgot. Guess what also happened? My heater busted. Like, pretty bad, actually. This is like the beginning of it. I had about a quart of fluid in my floor. And so I performed the emergency, I don't need a heater. I bypassed it. I'm regretting it now because it's winter and I don't have a heater in my only driving vehicle. Um, Otherwise, the Suburban's a reliable driver. I get good mileage. The speedometer doesn't work right now, as obviously the lockup on the converter doesn't because the speedometer doesn't work. The windows work still. I got a new windshield, which was nice. Shortly after doing the U-joints and my dad's truck catching fire, I also took it upon myself to clean the K&N air filter because it was gross. So basically all you do is you spray it with a soap, let it soak, then you wash it down with water and let it air dry, which I did thoroughly. It was nice and hot while I was doing this. And then you just spray the new oil on it, and it's supposed to wick after some time. So hey, that looks good too. The mirrors got real bad where if you drove for any amount of time with the mirrors set, the wind would blow them shut. So like I had to replace those real quick. The passenger side, as we're going through here, is quite easy. You go take this screw out underneath the thing, and then the metal piece like slides off. And then you undo the bolts on the body, and they're held in with these little plastic clip thingies. So I cleaned that up. The passenger side was super easy. Driver's side, not so much. Driver's side, someone's been in there before, so I had to take an angle grinder and cut the bolts off of it, or screws. As you may have seen, I have a new truck also, the Baby Blue, which it is a 1977 Chevy. It's a long bed, 3 on the tree. No power anything, no power brakes, no power steering, no power windows, no power locks. We drove it onto the trailer, but it had some issues. It had a Ford carburetor on it that was trash. I've since put an Edelbrock on it. Otherwise, I guess that's it. Hey, actually, I have been throwing around the idea of taking the Suburban places. So, here's a question. Would you like to see content of the Suburban that is not necessarily me fixing the Suburban? Because that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. Fishing, camping, there's some places around here that are pretty close where I could go camping. The other option is I can start another channel and just start from scratch with that and go camping in the Suburban. And eventually, in the 77, I haven't been exactly consistent, so if you want to see more of the Suburban, maybe that's the route to go. Otherwise, I think I've been out here in the middle of nowhere long enough, and my family probably wants to know where I'm at. So, hey, deuces. You be good while I'm gone, and hopefully it's not another year and a half.